Another video covering some of the detail of my ON30 Black Dog mine layout. This one is about signage. You see, I've got Black Dog Drift Mine sign uphill with the dog image, and the ditto over here, and then I've also got the wording on company store here, and also Rich Vein Bakery. Now, these aren't marvellous because it was my first attempt at this, but a few people have asked me to explain what I've done here. This is actually, I think, quite a clever way of effectively almost like printing on the wood. So what I've done here is I've decided on the typeface, size and font and so on. I've done these in Photoshop, but you could do them in most other image editing programs. So in this sign here, I'd have the image on there, and then typed in Black Dog Drift Mine, and then I flipped the image over, so as if you like right across to left, left across to right, and then got the timber. In this case, this was just very thin plywood, but it could be, you know, a number of coffee stirrers if you wanted. So then I printed this off on a inkjet printer, or you could use laser, and then by getting hold of some Mod Podge, which I know is quite expensive compared to most other sort of PVA based glues, but I actually do think it's better. So this is the Mod Podge matte. So you've got your printout with the image flipped over, as I said, from left to right, or horizontal flip if that makes more sense. And then you just paint the timber front with Mod Podge, and then press the lettering on. In other words, apply the printout on top of the wood. Obviously it'll be looking sort of back to front. Then rub it really well with your fingers, so that to the best of your knowledge, the whole area that the print covers has been well pressed, quite firmly pressed down against the glued surface. And then let it go dry. I suggest overnight to be absolutely sure. And then under the tap, start wetting the timber, in this case the storefront, and eventually the paper will gradually come away. The bulk of it, of course, will be surplus, and then if you're very careful, you need to be careful, rub down over the letters, and gradually all the paper will disappear off those as well, leaving you with just basically what you see here. Obviously the key is to press really quite firmly when you're applying the printout to the timber. And I'm not sure how you get on if you didn't use Mod Podge. I've not tried it on an ordinary PVA, but on Mod Podge it does work well. So these aren't amazingly good, but then it was my first attempt, and of course as this is a mining layout, which I particularly wanted to look a bit beaten up and rustic, it actually suits quite well. In terms of images, you need to be a bit careful, and indeed also typeface choices, because the finer the detail, the more risk you've got of the glue not sticking the image to the timber. So if you go for very fine work, there's a greater risk. But anyway, why don't you have a go? See how you get on.